What if I told you the Bible has scenes that sound more like a horror movie or fantasy novel than a holy book? Today, we're breaking down the craziest moments that will make you do a double take. The Bible is full of stories about faith, love, and redemption, but it's also packed with jaw-dropping events that are shocking, bizarre, and sometimes downright terrifying. From swarms of demonic locusts to entire cities being blasted by fire from the sky, these aren't your typical Sunday school stories. Stick around until the end, because number one on this list is so wild, you'll wonder why it's not a Hollywood blockbuster already. Here are the top 10 strangest parts of the Bible, brought to life with detail, context, and meaning. Let's get into it. Number 10, the Ark Incident, from 2 Samuel chapter 6 verse 6-7. The Ark of the Covenant was the holiest object Israel possessed. Inside were the 10 Commandments, Aaron's staff, and a jar of manna, symbols of God's presence. Only Levites could carry it, using poles, never touching it directly. When Uzzah saw the ark wobble, he reacted like anyone would. He reached out to steady it. But in doing so, he violated God's strict command. He was struck dead on the spot. The lesson? God's holiness isn't casual. It's like high-voltage electricity, untouchable without protection. And speaking of God showing up uninvited, our next moment literally crashes the party. Number 9, Belshazzar's handwriting on the wall, from Daniel 5. King Belshazzar of Babylon thought he was untouchable. He threw a feast using cups stolen from God's temple, mocking the sacred. Suddenly, a ghostly hand writes strange words on the palace wall: Mene, Mene, Tekel, Upharsin. None of his wise men can read it. Daniel translates, God has numbered your days. You've been weighed and found lacking. Your kingdom will be divided. That very night, Belshazzar is assassinated, and Babylon falls. A literal death sentence scrawled in real time. If you think a floating hand is weird, wait until you see what happens when demons pick their new roommates. Number 8, Jesus and the demon-possessed pigs, from Mark 5. On the shore of Galilee, Jesus meets a man possessed by a legion of demons. He lived in tombs, broke chains, and terrified everyone. When Jesus confronts them, they beg not to be cast into the abyss. Instead, he sends them into a herd of pigs. Immediately, 2,000 pigs stampede off a cliff and drown. The man is freed, clothed, and sane. But the locals? They're so freaked out they beg Jesus to leave. Evil destroyed, pigs lost, and a village that chose comfort over transformation. From a hillside of drowning pigs, let's scale up to a flood that swallowed the entire world. Number 7, Noah's flood, from Genesis 6-9. Humanity had grown corrupt, violence, wickedness, and evil is everywhere. God warns Noah, a righteous man, to build an ark. For decades Noah builds, mocked by his neighbors. Then the rains fall, 40 days, 40 nights. Waters rise until even mountains vanish. Everything dies except Noah's family and the animals aboard. Afterward, God makes a covenant, sealing it with a rainbow. It's both tragedy and hope, judgment on sin, but also a fresh start. What a story! And speaking of watery rescues, let's talk about the man who became fish food and lived to tell the tale. Number 6, Jonah and the giant fish, from Jonah 1-2. Jonah runs from God's call to preach in Nineveh, hopping on a ship going the opposite way. A storm hits, and the crew tosses Jonah overboard. Just when drowning seems certain, a massive fish swallows him whole. For 3 days Jonah sits in darkness, stomach acid burning, praying desperately. Finally, the fish vomits him onto shore. This isn't just bizarre survival, it's God showing Jonah mercy and giving him a second chance. Jonah's rescue is personal, but our next moment is a full-on fire showdown in front of a nation. Number 5, Elijah versus the prophets of Baal, from 1 Kings 18. Israel had turned to worship Baal, a fertility god. Elijah challenges 450 prophets of Baal to a duel on Mount Carmel. They build altars, sacrifice bulls, and pray for fire from heaven. The Baal prophets scream, dance, even slash themselves. Hours pass, nothing. Elijah rebuilds God's altar, drenches it in water, and prays. Instantly, fire falls from heaven, consuming everything: sacrifice, stones, water, even dust. The people fall face down, The Lord, He is God. A mic drop moment of divine power. From fire raining down, we turn to fire and brimstone wiping two entire cities off the map. Number 4, Sodom and Gomorrah destroyed. From Genesis chapter 19, Sodom and Gomorrah were infamous for wickedness, violence, injustice, and depravity. God decides their time is up. Angels warn Lot to flee with his family. As they escape, fire and sulfur rain down, erasing the cities. But Lot's wife looks back, disobeying the warning, and instantly becomes a pillar of salt. It's a chilling image, one glance back, frozen forever. A reminder not to cling to sin when God calls us forward. As terrifying as fire from heaven is, sometimes the greatest horror is what humans do to each other when hope is gone. Number 3, Cannibalism in Samaria. Father 2 Kings chapter 6 verse 28-29. Samaria was under siege by the Arameans. Famine set in so badly that donkey heads sold for silver, and people ate dove droppings. In desperation, two women made a gruesome pact: they would eat their own sons. The king, horrified, tore his robes in grief. But Elisha the prophet declares that God will end the famine by the next day. Miraculously, the Arameans abandon their camp, leaving food behind. From the darkest moment of human depravity to sudden divine deliverance, it's one of Scripture's hardest contrasts. From bones picked clean by famine, we move to bones rattling back to life in one of the strangest visions ever recorded. Number 2, Ezekiel's Valley of Dry Bones. From Ezekiel chapter 37, Ezekiel, in exile, is taken in a vision to a valley full of scattered, dry human bones. God asks him, "Can these bones live?" Ezekiel answers, "Only you know." God commands him to prophesy, and the bones rattle, assemble, flesh grows, skin forms, and finally, breath enters them. An entire army comes alive. It's not a zombie apocalypse, but a prophecy. Israel, though spiritually dead, will live again. Hope can rise from complete desolation. If this sounds epic, you'll love the word's full video on Ezekiel. It dives even deeper into this vision. But if that wasn't strange enough, our final story takes us to the end of the world, where creatures of nightmares crawl out of the abyss. Number 1, Revelation's demonic locusts. From Revelation chapter 9, John's vision in Revelation describes locusts unleashed from the abyss, but they're no ordinary insects. They look like war horses, wear golden crowns, have human faces, women's hair, lion's teeth, and wings that thunder like chariots. Their tails sting like scorpions. Their mission? To torment, but not kill, everyone without God's seal. For 5 months, pain without relief. These creatures embody chaos, judgment, and fear, symbols of the clash between heaven and hell. It's the stuff of nightmares, and yet, it reminds believers that God sets boundaries even on evil. The problem is, when most people think of the Bible, they imagine soft songs, quiet prayers, and peaceful images. But these passages prove the Bible is raw, intense, and often shocking. And here's the challenge: do we just brush off these stories as weird myths, or do we wrestle with what they mean for us today? Because behind every bizarre scene, there's a message. The Ark story: respect for God's holiness. The pigs: evil destroys everything it touches. The flood: God's justice but also His mercy. The Valley of Bones: hope in hopeless places. And the Revelation locusts: a warning of judgment but also reassurance that God's people are protected. These stories stretch our imagination, but they also challenge us to take faith seriously. The Bible isn't a tame book, it's dangerous, alive, and unforgettable. These stories show us a God who isn't small, safe, or predictable, but powerful, holy, and deeply involved in the human story. So next time you think of the Bible as just gentle wisdom and nice morals, remember, it's also packed with battles, visions, floods, fire, and creatures that would make even Hollywood jealous. And if you thought this was wild, wait until you see the next video: 3 Bible verses that will drive demons out of your home. Click now and see for yourself. Stay blessed.